are preparing kids for jobs that we don't know what they are. And in my case, I mean, that's really, for me, it was really an eye-opener. At the same time I took this job, my husband, who has been in marketing for 20 years, was called and they said, hey, we have a job for you. Why don't you come check it out? Head of listening. Neither of us knew what that was. So we Googled it. It's a job that I think it came on the radar in like 2010, 2012. Basically, he sits in like a giant, for me it would have been like what you see at NASA with all the screens, you know, everywhere in the 80s, 90s. And they monitor the feeds on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, like all social media sites for all the brands of Coca-Cola. All day long, there are teams of people doing that. And so they have this sophisticated software, and every time Coca-Cola or any of their brands are mentioned, it pops up, they consolidate all that information, and they make live recommendations to the legal department, to the advertising department. So what in marketing would have taken maybe 6 months or a year to come up with a campaign, now they're doing it and flipping it around during a soccer game. During the World Cup last year, there was a Mexican goalie who was doing really well one day, and everybody was tweeting about that. So people were trying to get in on the Twitter feed, and so they tweeted an image of the Coke can with like the guy's signature was an afro. So the Coke can with an afro, and we're all with you today, Ochoa, whatever. They had thousands, tens of thousands of hits that day, which was more than they would have had if they would have paid for advertising. So we're teaching kids to work in jobs like this that are different. We need them to be risk takers, but as teachers we have to model that. And so I know it's overwhelming, it's scary. My first year back, I honestly felt like I had like the tip of my nose above water. And so that's just kind of my advice. Take it or leave it. But from what I've seen in the past 3 years coming back, I think it can be helpful. So anybody have any questions, ideas? Yeah?
I know you said like jobs like can search or LinkedIn when you have the premium and stuff. Is there a way that you can search like openings?
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
Specific?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can search them, like today I just plugged in just to kind of see what came up. I changed it that I was actively searching for something in Mexico City, even though I'm not. And that can be clandestine too. So you can look for jobs and not have it like sent out to all your followers. And when I did that, a job came right up that said head of education for Apple Mexico. And so, yeah, I hadn't been looking for that. They obviously wouldn't have found me because I wasn't looking, but I found it today because I changed my settings. So you can change your settings and look for that, even with the free version. What happens with the paid version is that you can reach out to people that aren't necessarily reaching out to you. So you might say, hi, I'm interested in this job. Do you guys have anything? I'd like to connect with you, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Other things? No. And definitely down the road, digital badging is going to be huge, creating online courses. So these are all things as teachers we need to be thinking about because like here you guys have probably used Moodle a little bit. We utilize as a school, I would estimate 5% of the capabilities of Moodle. And lots of schools in the international scene are beginning to use Moodle as a contingency plan also for emergencies, like in Nepal, that kind of stuff. If they have online Moodle, even though they can't go to school, school can continue. And people work from home. That happened here in 2006. We had the swine flu epidemic in Mexico City. Everything was shut down for like a whole week. And our school continued operating. It could keep snow days from happening because you could push stuff out over Moodle, and then districts are allowing that to make up for snow days so you don't lose those days and have to make stuff up. But it's a lot of course creation. So we're moving. Anybody familiar with the SAMRA model? S-A, yeah. So it's a tech model for tech integration, and it's substitution, augmentation, modification, and redefinition. And it's a model that we're using here at our school. Wanda Jesus, who's in charge of academics, has said that for next year, every single unit of inquiry for PYP from K1 through 5th grade needs to have all of the tech components identified in the SAMRA model. And as a school, we're going to be working towards redefinition level for all units of inquiry. So what that means is, like instead of, if I have you write a paper by hand, or if I have you type it, that's substitution with technology. There's no functional difference really in typing it and handwriting it. But if I have you write it and then turn it into an ebook and then share it out, have an authentic audience, and you can embed videos and audios and that kind of stuff, then that's redefinition level for the writing assignment. And that's what we're starting here now with our students. Right now, first I'm working on an augmented reality project with kids. 3rd and 4th grade, we're going to start doing ebooks with audio and video. And so yeah, I mean, things are moving quickly, so I recommend that you guys try to keep up with the tech piece, especially if your university isn't giving you much for that. I think some teaching programs have stayed kind of old-fashioned in that area, but I think that to be competitive, you might need to look elsewhere. So, other thoughts, ideas? Hopefully this was helpful a little bit.
So they just go to LinkedIn.com
LinkedIn.com.
and create their page.
Yeah, yeah. And then start even like final projects and stuff. You may not have tons, but turn a final project you've done for some class into a slideshow that you can put up on there's a thing called SlideShare. You can turn your PowerPoints into slideshows you can share on social media. So if you do that, you can link it to your LinkedIn and people would see examples of work that you've done. If you have, I don't know, I used to get video a lot when I was student teaching. If you have those videos and you can edit it, make sort of a online video portfolio of like a minute or two and just put your philosophy in there and some examples of you working with kids and type of projects or something innovative, that would be really great.
So you have a great opportunity now with Anthony coming around to do little video snippets for promoting our global education, to use the same videos of yourself that he's making, and you can add them to your LinkedIn pages or your TaskStream portfolios for now and so forth. So.
I'll only charge a small fee.
Which I'm seeing a lot of opportunity here to merge a lot of what you already created on TaskStream. Are you familiar with TaskStream?
Mm-hmm.
It's an online lesson plan, unit plan portfolio builder that we require at the university. So they all have electronic portfolios online that they've created. And I think a lot of it would infuse well here. We can copy and paste things in or link between the two things.
Yeah, and if you guys are ever interested in the AD program or Google or any of that stuff, feel free to, you can get my information and email me and I'm happy to help and share. And while you're here, if there's stuff that we've talked about that you don't know what it is or you wish you did or it sounded great, you want to learn a little bit, I mean, we're here. This place is pretty unique in a school. It's the Center for Teaching Excellence. Patty works up there and Carlos and myself and Lucinda. There are 4 of us here all day, every day, for the sole purpose of teacher development and training. And any teacher in the school can sign up to work with any of us, any day for anything. So that's really nice at our school. We do tech training, coaching, Lucinda helps with how to interpret standardized test results, like tons of stuff. So we have computers in here, you can work in here if you want a quiet place. I know you're almost leaving, but yeah, I think it's neat.
They've got another week and a half. But here's the thing, I know you all have prep periods. And if you're not busy on those, I put this challenge out to you, but it's up to you. It's your future trying to get jobs. Start this. Everyone, when you have a break, come in here, use one of the computers, if you have your own iPads or whatever, get it started. Because you know how then once you do that, you learn from each other. Oh yeah, I created this. Oh, how'd you find that? You'll do that really well here over the next 2 weeks, as opposed to going home and then all by yourself trying to create it and not having feedback from each other.
And we're happy to help you too. I mean, I taught a graduate course in that, like how to develop a personal learning network. And so we would share afterwards, where we kind of look at each other's LinkedIn, hey, you did that, that's really cool, or think about this, or use this search term, and things like that. So you can get a lot of feedback from people here.
I mean, I'm going to create one just so I have an example to share with future student teachers and show them. So, yeah.
And it's cool, like I said, my husband got offered this job because he had a LinkedIn account, and they found him based on his skill. I mean, he was not actively searching to be head of listening anywhere, he didn't even know existed. And so I think that based on your unique skills, people may find you for jobs that you aren't even considering with a teaching background. So, okay, well, thank you. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you for your time.